And we continued with our journey. Around Gilgil is when I felt the problem is persisting and I started feeling weak. And you can imagine breathing from a journey of about 2 hours end. And this is not the minibus that is going express like today. It's going, like if it get to Gilgil, it will stop. Then again, you get to Naivasha, it stop. All this time, I'm breathing. And she asked me what is wrong. Before I responded to her, I felt I want to cough. So coughing, I didn't actually hold my mouth like this. I coughed, nikakohoa damu ikatoka nikamgonga nayo. And she was like, what's going on? Mom picked me up. She took me to the bedroom and took some hot water and bathed me.
On today's episode of Testify, we bring to you the inspiring story of Ndungu, who was healed miraculously of an issue of blood that almost took her life away. Her life was again spared by God after getting involved in a grisly road accident. Anne is the author of the book The Faith That Killeth and also the founder of Giving Hope to the Hopeless movement.
I've written a book that's called The Faith That Killeth. In that book that is called The Faith That Killeth, it's speaking more of the faith, the beliefs, not necessarily the Christianity part of it, but the faith that we have in this world. You can have a different faith in a different kind of God, depending to the way that you worship, but mostly it's based on a Christian foundation.
Ndungu, the firstborn in a family of 6, was born in Nairobi's Makadara area but brought up in Nyandarua County.
We were okay. I can't say that I strained on my childhood, even going to school and having meals and all that. But what I remember happened was, by the time I was coming to know now myself and understand things, we were not having TVs in our house, neither radios, And when I hear other kids saying they go to Sunday school, to their churches, as we were not like having specifically a church like the way we have today, there's a certain place you all meet and you know where. So today the people would come at our home, we worship there, no using of any kind of instrument. You can't use, we use microphone, we use keyboards, and all those kind of things. But actually in our church, there was nothing like that. We were not using all those things. And again, there is nothing like you sit next to me as a gentleman. It is ladies on their side and gentlemen on their side. It molded me. It gave me the fear of God. It is the one that has made me to be the person I am, because I wanted to dig deeper and understand. Because now I've grown up, now here you see other people doing something else differently. They have something like keyboards, They're using the drums. You can hear that there is this one, the one that other people use, they call them karinga-ringa, that kind of thing. But it's only using now your hands. And I would ask my mom and my dad those questions. Why don't we do this? So at times, mom would answer me all that. But you feel you're not satisfied. You ask, why do we not do this? And again, you feel, the answer that you've been given is not satisfying enough. And so I became curious since then.
While in class 6, she accidentally fell on a stone and suffered internal chest injury. This in turn led to severe complications that forced her to take a break from school. Unfortunately, her parents' faith could not allow them to take her to hospital.
So I took some time at home, then I went back to school. But since then, my chest I was affected in a way. Because that pain, even at some times I would stay even today and I'll feel there's a kind of the pain that is coming from my chest. But I thank God I think it's the effect of what happened during that time when I wasn't treated. And I continued. Now, but people would ask questions. Were you taken to the hospital? Were you given anything? And you tell them no. What did they do? They just prayed on me. They just prayed for me and I'm okay. And you can't complain because this is what you are being taught to do as a child. So I continued. But when I was almost doing my KCPE, one day my mom told me, she sent me actually to get some few things at the shop, and I met with one of our neighbor. And the neighbor told me to go and buy her medication. Today I understand it was a medication because she told me to go and get, I think it was either mara moja or a headache. I can't really remember which. And actually, when I told her it's okay, I don't know whether it's wrong to do that. So I bought what my mom had sent me to buy. Then I came back and I told my mother, this is what you had sent me, but this one I was sent by so-and-so. And mom asked me, what is that? And I told mom, she told me to get her painkiller called, I can't remember whether it was headache specific or all mara moja. Hey, the battle that I received from my mother, I can never forget to date. Because she told me, we don't touch those things. We don't believe in those things. Those are not godly things and you should never ever touch them.
Still, as a result of the chest injury, Anne developed a nosebleeding condition which escalated to episodes of fainting at a time when she joined Riru Girls High School as a day scholar.
But I remember I just felt the same pain and I fell down again on the road. So it became so dangerous, and Dad was like, he started getting now pissed off, and he said the best thing, it's better to be in a boarding school, or even if I fell down, it's within the premises of the school, not along the road. And he had avoided to take me to boarding school because of those problems. And Daddy said that I can't continue with education there. He need to do me a transfer. But before he did a transfer, I woke up one day in the morning, prepared around 6 a.m. in the morning. And I told the mom that that's ready now. Mama, I'm going, kwaheri. And she told me it's okay. That was the craziest part because I think that was the one that I stayed for a very long time without waking up. I felt the same normal pain. Started nose bleeding, and I fell down. And I couldn't understand myself from there. So she screamed. And because it was very early in the morning, it will attract a lot of people and they will come to see what happened. So people came and they just picked me up and took me inside the house and prayed. And all that time was lying on bed. I am not understanding myself. By the time I was waking up is when I heard someone said with the Kikuyu language that it's already late, it's 4 p.m. And I was like, what? Okay. So Dad came and decided now I can't continue with the school. When I was with my mother, going back at home, staying there, it's when I developed now the issue of the headache and the falling down. Still it's happening. So Mom thought, because it was not happening like every day, it's something that I will stay even weeks without having it, then at a time it will come. And it's happened. Mama told me to go and remove some water in the kitchen, the home, the upcountry, the way they shape their houses, as in there is the kitchen that side and now the table room is on this side, the main house now. So Mom sent me to kitchen and she told me to go and remove that water, take it to the bathroom. She's coming to shower. So when I went to kitchen, I was just bedding to remove now the water from, the kitchen, and the same pain ikakuja. Nikaanguka and nikaangukia sasa near the jiko, nikagonga one of the firewood, so it came out ikaanza sasa kuchoma nguo, and at this time you're feeling you are collapsing, unarusha miguu lakini you can't be able to remove the voice and scream. But I think mom suspected something has happened, and she called me. I was not able to answer because I would feel I can't even open my mouth to say anything. I want to speak. I'm feeling I have some words I want to say, but I don't even have the strength to answer. So by the time she was coming, one of the side of my dress ilikuwa already imeshaanza kuchomeka. She picked me up, akanipeleka kwa bedroom. Nikakaa hapo. She called dad and explained again it has happened. Now I didn't wake up from there. The problem became bigger because my body started, like, what do I call it, kufura. Ilianza kufura. Yeah. And wow. It would happen, na feel ni kama kitu nadungwa, naekwa pums, nasikia it's adjusting until I feel the skin, I'm being affected. And it started happening, and it would swell until the dress I'm wearing start now, inaanza kujirarua yenyewe. And all this time, just prayers, trusting God. Now I started feeling like my life is not like the other, like that of my sisters. I'm not living the normal life like other people. And luckily, by God's grace, that thing stopped for some time. And I went back to school. I was taken out to the boarding school. But luckily, I continued very well up now to Form 3. And during that time of Form 3 is when I felt we were on the way going home. We crossed the school and we were released now to go back at home. And I went now to the stage to pick the minibus going back to my mom's place now. On the way is when I felt the headache has started, and I started nose bleeding. But now what I did during that time of nose bleeding, I decided to pull up my sweater and cover my nose, and the blood would fall now on my brows, the white brows, because we were wearing the white brows. And I thought it's just nose bleeding. But now it was not only nose bleeding. Bedding down, the blood now was coming out, and I would see it now on my legs, ikiteremka. And I got so scared. But now the driver was someone who knew my mother and my dad, but he didn't know about our faith. So I can't tell him that I am sick and I'm bleeding. So what I decided was to hold my leg, tighten it so that the blood doesn't, move down. And nikajiskuma kwa kiti nyuma, ndio sasa isiteremke. Sasa kama itatoka kwa kiti ikae hapo. And we continued with our journey. Around Gilgil is when I felt the problem is persisting and I started feeling weak. And you can imagine bleeding from a journey of about 2 hours end. And this is not the minibus that is going express like today. It's going, like if it get to Gilgil, it will stop. Then again, you get to Naivasha, it stop. All this time, I'm bleeding. But we get into the house, and my mom looked at me and she asked me, "Kare, what's wrong?" And I told her, "Mom, I don't know. I've been like this." Ruth told her that look at the back of her skirt. So it's when Mom came and she looked at me and my skirt was full of blood. And actually she checked on my sweater. The sweater was green. And you see green with blood, because it's red, it can't be visible unless you're near. So she removed the sweater and checked my brows was full of blood. And she asked me what is wrong. Before I responded to her, I felt I want to cough. So coughing, I didn't actually hold my mouth like this. I coughed, nikakohoa, damu ikatoka, nikamgonga nayo. And she was like, what's going on? Mom picked me up. She took me to the bedroom and took some hot water and bathed me. And the problem persisted. By then, the blood is actually even rolling down on my legs. But they kanitengenezea kitanda, wakaeka makaratasi ndio sasa nisiharibu mattress. Na nikaralishwa hapo. When I was there, you're feeling like I was feeling unasikia unataka kutoa makamasi, lakini uwezi, ni damu tu juu ndio inatoka. And I felt unaona venye unasikianga unataka kukuna masikio. I started doing like this tena kwa masikio because nasikia kuna vitu huko and the blood again is coming out. And my mom decided now this is a serious thing. She called my dad. And after calling my dad, it's when dad said he's coming. And my mom called now the washirika that we used to go now with them, the same church. And they came. They prayed. They indeed prayed. Let me say they really prayed for me. But now after some few days, it's still the same. The blood is coming out. Mom is the one who is cleaning me up now. My mom would try to make some juice that at least will be able to add some blood in my body. But again, I'm not able to siwezi kumeza sababu I'm feeling koo yangu imefungana. So as much as she would cook food, she used to prepare it like it's for a very young baby. Anatumia kichungi, she sieve it and then she come and try to give to me. Mom got tired of like every day coming, seeing me, I'm getting worse every other day. And so my sister, the one who is behind me, she told my mom, because it's affecting you, I'm the one who is going to be cleaning our sister every other day. So my baby sister was the one, she's called Jane Muthoni. She's the one who was cleaning me up every other morning, taking those, those vitambaa zenye nimetandikiwa, and naenda anazitupa because you can't wash them. And we continued like that for some time, for about 3 months, until now I got so weak. And it's reached a place my body now imeisha. Even the one yenye ilikuwa inafura sina sasa, my whole body has turned to be yellow. And that is where the issue got so serious because I can't walk, I can't sit down, can't do anything. And she would carry me like a child. My younger sister now, take me out, take a mattress out and take me out there, and lie me down there to get at least some sunlight. And when the sunlight is too much, she bring the umbrella to cover me. Then again, she carries me back to bed. I continued like that for about 3 months. All this time, you can hear people talking when my mom friends come to visit her. You hear the women gossip. And you'd hear people saying, people are saying they're outside, she has terminated the pregnancy. And so mom was asking them, she has terminated the pregnancy, is even coming out through the nose and ears. But some would encourage her, don't worry, that is normal, the way people are saying. Others would say, I have now maybe gotten the HIV disease and all that, all manner of things. But I reach a place now I can't even talk to you. I can't eat. The only person who would know how to communicate to me was my sister, Jane. She was the one who would come and hold my hands. She came and told me, she whispered on my ears that when I ask you something, you try to do like this, or you hold my hands and you squeeze. I'll know whether it's yes or it's no. If it's a no, if you can't shake your hand, you close your eyes. And so me and my sister used to communicate like that. All this time dad is there. He can't even get to my room because it's affecting him. So I would hear him asking my mom, and how is she today? Is she recovering or what's going on? But I wouldn't see my dad. At that time, he would not even come to ask what I'm feeling. So I would convince myself that one day I'll heal. I'll go back to school. I'll have a good home and a good life. And God will end this suffering. Inside me was having hope that indeed, no matter what I'm going through, this faith that we've been taught about, I'm believing in it, and I'm believing that God will help me to recover. And so I started having a prayer. It's good always, even when you're going through something, it's good to talk to your inner soul. Convince yourself that with God, all things are possible. So I kept on convincing myself that one day I'll be okay. And trusting and even praying, even if I can't talk like the way I'm talking to you today, inside my heart, I was saying a prayer, a silent prayer, and telling God, please give me another body. Take away all this problem. Give me a beautiful body, that I'm not getting sick, that I don't have the chest pain, I don't have this swelling body. Now I'm breathing, God. Just restore my health. That was my prayer throughout. Because all this time now, no one is coming actually even to stay with you. Because my sister would go sometimes to school. And you see now I'm only with my mom at home. Maybe my dad left. And so you're in that bed alone. You alone with your God. So I kept on now staying there and waiting on God alone. And finally God helped me. All this time I'm not eating because nothing is passing through my throat. It has somehow blocked. And now people are talking, rumors are all around the village. I remember one day, one of the neighbors decided to go and tell the sub-chief. You're hearing from the background, even if no one is telling you. When people come, talk to my mother, I can hear what they are saying, but I can't respond. So one day, someone came running and said, hey, Mama Wangari, I've heard that people are coming, police are coming to pick your girl and take her to hospital. And so to them, according to the faith of my mom, that was not something you should. I think it was like coming and someone messing with your faith. So you can't allow anything that will come and tarnish your faith. So mom made a call immediately, and she had to call a neighbor, one of the people that she was going with in the church. And they picked me up. I was taken to now the neighbor's house. I spent the night there. So when they came, there was no one in the house. And the next day, they brought me back at our house, and I continued being there. And I remember asking God that the day I was brought back, I asked God, if it praises you, help me so that these people will not come and start harassing my parents. God, just heal me. And I just slept. The next morning, one of my mom's friends came, and there were two of them in kitchen. They were cooking. I would hear them talking. And I felt like something has fallen, like cold water. Nimemwagiwa maji baridi. My body became cold all of a sudden. I wouldn't stretch my hands. I started feeling I have the energy to stretch my hands. I started feeling I have the energy now to stretch my legs, my hands. And luckily, by God's grace, I was able to sit down on my bed. How? I don't know. But today I'm here to say that God is able. At that moment, I felt really that the body that I was telling God to give me. Because I remember I would even tell God, you give people wisdom. When a car gets damaged, we don't throw the car away. We go and buy maybe the wheel that is having a problem, and we change. And so God, you can change me. You can give the spare part of my body. You can repair my body. That was my prayer throughout on that bed. And finally it came to pass because I was able to at least sit down, and I felt now I have the energy. Believe you me, for the first time after 3 months, I was able to stand. But sasa nikaenda kama nimejishikiria kwa walls. Our house has a setup. It has a corridor. Then you get now the table room, corridors from the bedroom. You know, the ushago setups. And now you go now to the kitchen, the main door. Now you go outside. And started going now nikiwa nimejishikiria kwa wall pole pole. Nikafika now nikasikia marango. The main door to access the bedroom is locked. And nika knock. I heard my mom saying, we all need to hear. The only person who is inside that house, it's Anne. And according to the way things are, she can't be. Who is knocking the door from inside? So I would hear them telling, you go open. And my mom is saying, no, you go and open the door. Because they did not expect it, as in their hopes, even if they were having the faith, they had seen that I can't really recover again. I can't. It's like they were waiting for the day, you die and waseme the will of God has been done. But luckily, Mom came and opened the door, and she didn't push it now inside to see who is knocking. She opened and left. She opened the door and left. And I opened the door pole pole, walked out, accessed the table room. But now on the main door, the main entrance of our main house is when I felt the energy is over. I sat down on the frame. So when I was opening is when Mom saw me together with a friend. My mom wouldn't believe it. I refrained to alianguka. The scream akasema, oh God. And she fell down. The other lady started saying, she started now screaming and anasema, oh God, kujeni muone. So some of my neighbors, there was a lady who used to call Mama Mary. She came running and asking, what's going on? She said, Mama Wangari has fallen down, but Wangari is out. And the lady asked, how? The same person mwenye mlikuwa mnatoa kwa nyumba mkianika, sahi anatembea na hamjampeleka hospitali. And to me, wakanishikiria, the setup of the house, there are some seats zenye zinatengenezangwa like forms, wakanishikiria, wakanipeleka hapo nje, and I sat down there. Started asking me, unasikia aje? The funniest thing, I had missed to speak proudly, but niliweza kuongelesha, nikawambia nataka maji moto. And they were like, really, God is good.
After 3 months, she was able to go back to school and recovered. Her faith in God grew more after the miracle of healing and inspiration from Christian Union members in high school.
In our school setup, there was the CA and the CU and now the SDS. So me, I used to love the CU people. Because at 3 a.m. they would wake up wanaenda kwa field and you hear them speaking in different tongues. And I used even to desire, like one day, nijipate ninaongea with that language. Sometimes I would even ask them, there was a girl, alikuwa anaitwa Jacinta, I would ask her, Jacinta, can you help me? Can you write notes to me? Which is that language that you used to speak when you're praying? But now, at sometimes I would say I'm not feeling like going because I want to attend the weekend challenge and hear the powerful preaching, in the name of Jesus, chasing out the demons and all that. To me, it was so attracting, and I started admiring that kind of preaching. I started saying, if these people are praying God like this, the way that we don't even do, you go and you see people worshiping, raising up hands, and you ask yourself, God, as we only crap, why are they even crying while they, I've never seen someone who is singing and they are crying.
At one point, Anne was summoned by the elders on accusations that she had sinned against God and that God was punishing her for her sins.
And so I was so down to be, receiving those, like saying, Bwana asifiwe, there is nothing of the sort. And I won't be going to church. Then I remember telling them, I will come even if you guys will not shake, because I'm coming to worship my God who healed me. And so regardless, you tell me I'm no longer a member of this, I would be coming. So I was told, you have to take some time until we call you back again and we prove that you have not done these things. So I went back to my school, continued. But now remember, this is now you've been given now those rules and all that. So it's like I got an opportunity to continue now doing my own research. And by God's grace, I was done now that time with my KCSE at China's Girls. And I went back home to stay with now my mom and my dad, waiting either to be taken to university or to college. My issues of breeding, my issues of nose breeding and swearing, how they disappeared, can't tell you, can't explain. Just miraculously.
Finally, she was through with her secondary school education but developed a serious tooth complication. Since she could not be taken to hospital because of her faith, it got so bad that she had to pluck it off using pliers.
One day, because of seeing, your fellow student, they're using the toothpaste. And as we could not even use something of the sort. So sometimes I would see my mom brushing with a bit of the salt, and she put a bit of the salt on her toothbrush. She brushed her tooth, and I think I myself copied that. But when now you go to high school, you can see people dropping out after they brush their teeth something whitish, and you don't understand what is that. Only to come and realize now when you use the toothpaste, the result, what comes out. Now I realize these people can see when I'm brushing, there is nothing like that I'm using. So I opted the only best option for me to do so that I be like others. It is to use the bar soap. So nikatafuta kakitu kamkebe, nikaeka bar soap yangu, and so every other morning wakati tunaenda kusugua meno, nilikuwa nachukua toothbrush na finyilia pale na paka bar soap. Sasa naeka kwa mdomo, juu hutaki mtu aone, unaenda ukifanya hivi. Sasa bora yako uteme mate ambayo ni nyekundu. Ambayo ni nyeupe. Sasa that's what I used to do. So one day with the setup of the high school and the cube mates and all that, when they did something very funny on me, and they asked me, "Anne, can you help me with one of them asked me, "Anne, can you help me with your toothpaste?" And I told them my toothpaste imeisha leo. And I knew, this is the day now. Because that box singefungua mbele ya watu, nilikuwa naona wataona ka toothpaste kangu kenye natumianga. So I used to use it, and then naekelea nguo juu ndio mtu asione. But now that lady asked me, "Anne, can you help me with the toothpaste?" Nikamwambia yangu imeisha leo asubuhi. Kaniambia akiansi umebrush tu sahi. But that is the day that they had planned. They want now to unveil what I do. You see that kanini kakukuaibisha tu. But I think they really wanted to help me because finally they did. Wakafungua box yangu. Mmoja akatoa akasema, "This is what Anne has been using." Let me tell you, that thing affected me. It affected me because remember the reason I'm doing this, ninaficha imani yangu na sitaki kuambia imani yangu inikubalishi mpaka kutumia the toothpaste part of it. Unaona? Sasa wakaniambia, "And this is bar soap. It's full of chemicals na haifai kupita kwa mdomo. It will destroy you, inaweza hata kuharibu." And the lady said, "I have 2 toothpaste. We are sorry we are doing this. We wanted to give you a toothpaste because you are our friend and we stay together." You can't say no. And because I had started now feeling like this faith is too much, I picked up and I started using toothpaste. I think now because of me using the salt and the bar soap, the tooth issue started, and they were serious. Because I started having very painful toothache episode. I would feel like someone is, coming with a hammer, and trying to kick me so hard. But all this time, nothing like when the toothache pain comes, you're not even being taken to the hospital still. It's still prayers. Na iliniuma for some time. And one day I decided, at our home area, we had a dam, mahali chini kwa shamba ya dad. And so akili yangu iliniambia, niende nijirushe kwa hiyo maji, hiyo joto ninasikia itaisha. But before then, my sister had been told wasiniatilie nitoke nje because my mom had seen pain inanieza and I started speaking things that are not there. So I don't know whether they thought I'm losing my mind, because even me, I would feel somehow I'm not myself. There are things I'm doing and they're getting out of control because of this pain. But by God's grace, even though that pain continued, because that moment of me saying I want niende nijirushe kwa damu na niweze kusikia at least hiyo moto yenye nasikia kwa jino imeisha, my sisters walinifuata nyuma. Nikaona wananifuata wanishike ndio nisiende na huko chini, because nilifungua gates zote nikielekea kwa shamba. Nikasikia now the only thing, because hawa wananishika na walikuwa wameambiwa nisitoke nje, the best thing now it is nichukue kijiti nianze kuwakuta niwafukuze. So I chased them away with a stick. Na saa hizo hata ile uchungu nasikia utaki kusikia mtu anakuja karibu na wewe hata kidogo. And nikikimbia nikasikia nikakanyanga mahali before nifike kwa dam nijirushe, kulikuwa na shimo ya siafu. Nikakanyanga na nikaanguka hapo ndani, uchungu ikaniezea hapo na nikafaint. But now kamuti kangu bado kako hapa. So my sisters are thinking ni kuanguka nimeanguka nilale tu nitulize uchungu, because they knew the episode of the pain, the way it was taking me. So my sister wakakaa kando kidogo for some few minutes, fearing I would wake up again wachape na hiyo kijiti. So at that time nikakuwa ni siafu zimeanza kuniingia. Nikakuliwa na siafu, zikaingia mpaka kwa masikio, zikakuwa mpaka kwa mapua, kwa kichwa, all over my body including my face. Nilikuwa beaten kabisa na hizo wadudu. So when my sister alikaribia akaona sijisikii, it's when she screamed and one of the neighbor came. Now the gentleman akakuja. Actually the neighbor who had sent me the medication, now the husband, is the one who came. And she came and asked what's going on, and he was told that I fainted na nimeingia kwa nini ya siafu. Akanichukua akanipeleka nyumbani, and he called my mom, and my mom came. So by the time my mom is coming, bado niko na siafu kwa mwili, sijatolewa mpaka nguo na sijisikii. So mama akakuta nimejaa siafu kwa kichwa, amejaribu kunitoa kunipanguza, but there are those ones still that have accessed my inside body and they are biting me still. My mom alichukua makasi, akaeka nywele yangu yote chini ndio hizo vitu zitoke. So by the time mimi nilikuwa najisikia, nilikuta mwili yangu yote nimejaa marks. Nimeuma mpaka uso mpaka wapi. So I felt bad. I felt my self-esteem affected. And I felt the best thing to do with this tooth is to find a way to remove it. Lakini sasa bado nimezungukwa, naona sasa hapa niko tu hivyo natulia na lala. But one day one of my neighbor came and akaniambia sasa ile uchungu uko nayo mimi nimeamua nikuletea kaka dawa and don't tell your parents. And to me I was like, as long as the tooth pain will stop, it's okay. So she brought something and she told me you gargle, then unatema hiyo maji, alafu unakaficha mahali. So I would go behind my mom's house, nakaficha mahali kwa nyasi, naenda nachukua na gargle, narudi. But it didn't stop, because I'm not doing this like the way the prescription of the doctors has been authorized. Nafanya mimi kivyangu. Asa nikaamua, then the best thing I can do, it is only then I find a way how can I remove this toothache. And because it is the main ones zenye mtu huwa hangoi, huwezi jingoa, he said I will took a pliers and pluck out the tooth. Unfortunately, sijui ni kushika nilishika, juu ilikuwa imeoza some part. Sasa kuliko nishike nitoe yote, nilitoa one side ikakatika ikabaki ndani. And I told myself, sasa uchungu imeisha. But it didn't stop there. So that thing still continued. Dad came in the evening and he was told that nilitumia prayers kung'oa meno. I had my dad telling my mother in our Kikuyu language that I should be checked because I am losing it. So I knew things are getting out of hands. That is when one of brothers to my mom got the information of how I'm suffering. And in this time, remember, because of the issues of the sickness, it's the time I was told not to go to the church and either to fellowship. And I'm done with my school. So my uncle said I go to Naivasha. There is a certain job he had seen somewhere I can do. Before I started the job is when he decided we go to Ramu. He was having a conference. He's a bishop. He's called Bishop George Waroe, a joy celebration Naivasha. So he told me, because you're just away from that church, I want we go together, you see how we worship.
In the next episode, next week, same time, Anne will share with us how the veil of deception was removed in her encounter with the light of truth. She will also share how God rescued her from a grisly road accident. Stay tuned to Hope TV.